All right, let's just jump right in. You know those songs that come on and it feels like they weren't just written, but almost scientifically engineered to make you move? Yeah, that is exactly what Dance With Me is. It wasn't just a song, it was a full-on global phenomenon. So today we're going to pull back the curtain and find out the studio secrets that made this track an absolute monster hit.
I mean, it's not just that it has a good beat, right? It's more than that. When you really listen, it feels physical. Like the sounds themselves have weight. They feel like they're in the room with you, not just trapped in your headphones. So what is going on here? How did they pull that off?
And that feeling had a massive, massive real-world impact. Get this, over 15 million TikToks were made using the hashtag ballroom slide trend. That's insane. So we're not just talking about a hit song here. This was a cultural force. And that force, it was built, piece by piece, note by note, right inside the studio.
Okay, so to really understand how they pulled this off, we've got to start with the basics. We're talking about the song's musical blueprint, the actual DNA of the track that gives it its entire vibe.
It all kicks off with the musical key they chose, B Minor Dorian. Now, you hear minor key and you might think, sad, kind of gloomy, right? But the Dorian mode is special. It changes just one note. The sixth note gets raised, and that one little tweak completely flips the entire mood on its head.
And that one tiny note change, it has this incredibly powerful effect. It basically injects this nightclub brightness into the sound, so you get all the coolness of a minor key without any of the gloom. This wasn't an accident, you guys. This was a super deliberate choice to make the song feel sophisticated, expensive, just plain cool.
But then there's the secret weapon of the chorus. It's this one chord, the dominant 13th. Now, this is not your average, everyday chord you learn on a guitar. No. This thing is complex, it's jazzy, it's just packed with color. And what it does is it builds this amazing sense of tension right before everything in the chorus just clicks into place. And the feeling it creates, it's like the sonic equivalent of a champagne cork popping. Seriously, when that F-sharp 13th chord hits, it's just a pure celebration. It's got the shimmering, almost explosive quality that lifts the entire track into the stratosphere. It's just the sound of pure, unapologetic joy. Okay, so cool musical theory is one thing, but that's just part of the story. The real game changer here, the secret sauce that makes this song sound so different from everything else, is this incredible hybrid of the old-school analog world and the modern digital one.
It's a pretty advanced technique called Ballroom Re-Amping. So normally, right, a producer would just slap on a digital reverb plugin to make something sound like it's in a big room. But not these guys. They decided to use a real room. They literally took the sounds they'd already recorded, blasted them through speakers in a huge physical space, and then re-recorded that to capture its totally unique character.
So let me walk you through how this actually works. Step 1, you record your synth parts perfectly clean, straight into the computer. Digital perfection. Step 2, you take those perfect digital tracks and you blast them through giant speakers in an actual physical wooden-floored ballroom. Then, step 3, you put up some seriously high-end microphones in that room. Finally, you hit record again and you capture everything, not just the music, but the natural reverb, the echoes, the actual air of the space.
And here's why that is so important. Think about it. A digital reverb is basically a computer program pretending to be a room. It's an algorithm. It's clean. It's predictable. But this ballroom re-amping technique, that's the real deal. It's authentic. It captures a living, breathing space, and that gives the final sound this natural, almost tactile quality. It's something you don't just hear, you can almost feel it.
All right, so now we know the big secret behind the song's incredible atmosphere. But how did they make sure everything else fit around it? Let's dive into how every single piece of this puzzle was engineered to perfection.
Check this out. The engineers used a really cool mixing trick called the power triangle. Basically, they took the most important stuff, the kick, the snare, the main vocal, and put them smack dab in the center, keeping them super punchy and dry. Then, they took the rhythm guitars and pushed them way out to the sides, hard left and hard right. What this does is it creates this massive, wide-open space right in the middle for the vocal to just live and breathe. And the hook itself? Oh, it's just pure genius. First, they double the vocals with a higher octave, which gives it that huge kind of one-man choir sound. But the real magic, the part that gets in your bones, is the rhythm. The word dance lands hard on beat 1. Bam! But the word me doesn't land on a beat. It hits on the and right before the next bar. It's this little offbeat push, and that tiny bit of syncopation creates this tension and release that practically forces your body to reset and move with it. It's so clever.
And it's not just the music. Even the lyrics are in on the act. The song uses a cool literary device called anthropomorphism. Basically, it gives human qualities to something that isn't human. Here, the rhythm is treated like a person, an entity that can physically take his hand. It's such a clever way to write it, because the words themselves are reinforcing the music's core message. This beat is alive and it's commanding you to dance.
So, you see, when you put all these pieces together, the smart music theory, that insane reamping trick, the perfect mix, even the clever lyrics, you start to understand how this wasn't just some lucky hit. This was no accident. This was a masterpiece of studio craft. And what's cool is that this song is actually part of a much bigger trend. It's a return to what people are calling maximalist studio craft. Think of it as the complete opposite of that minimalist, lo-fi bedroom pop we've heard so much of. This is all about big budgets, real live musicians, and advanced engineering, pushing everything to the limit to create something that sounds absolutely monumental.
And the ripple effect from this one song, it was huge. You can't deny it. All of a sudden, Google searches for new disco production went through the roof. Record labels started opening up their wallets again for big live room tracking sessions. And remember that hashtag ballroom slide trend we talked about? Well, the main move, the big spin in the dance, happens exactly when that shimmering F-sharp 13th chord hits. Think about that. A direct line from a complex jazz chord to a viral TikTok dance. Incredible.
Which brings us to one last really fascinating question. For the last few years, we've been living in an era dominated by lo-fi, do-it-yourself music made in a bedroom. So, is this meticulous, high-budget, maximalist craft, is this the actual future of pop music? It's definitely something to chew on the next time you hear a song that doesn't just make you listen, but physically makes you want to move.